Hey, welcome to lesson one. Really glad you're here. It's called Setting Your Sail. Now, the person next to me here is Dr. Dan Reinhardt. Dan, say hi.
Hi, glad to be here with you.
He is the founder and president of Crest. We will be facilitating this course together as we have been for many years, and we enjoy working together.
You sure do. You're a good guy to work with, John. I really enjoy you.
We've been sailing together actually for many years, and
Yes.
sailing is a good metaphor for the beginning of this course. And in that way, we are like sailors in life, and we're navigating it the best way we can. Some manage quite well. Others, well, they need a little help.
Do you want to come sailing with me on my friend George's boat?
No.
That's okay. You don't have to.
No, I'd love to. It sounds great. I've never been on a boat, and I don't think I can handle it. It just makes my lips numb to think about it. But if your friend is a good sailor and the craft is seaworthy, yes, I will go sailing. Yeah, let's go sailing. I have no other plans. I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing! Dr. Marvin, guess what? Ahoy! I sail! I'm a sailor! I sail! Isn't this a breakthrough? I mean, that I'm a sailor? I sail? I sail now?
Keep sailing, Bob.
Out on a boat on the lake, way far away from the dock, in the wind with the sky and everything. Ahoy!
So, one way or another, we are going sailing. Now, there's a poem written by Ella Wilcox many years ago, actually 1916. And that gives us a picture of the choices we have as we navigate through life. It goes like this. But to every mind there openeth a way and way and a way. A high soul climbs the highway, and the low soul gropes the low. And in between on the misty flats, the rest drift to and fro. But to every man and woman there openeth a highway and a low. And every mind decideth the way that his soul should go. One ship sails east and the other west by the self same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails and not the gales that tells the way we go. Like the winds of the sea are the waves of time as we journey along through life. 'Tis the set of the soul that determines the goal and not the calm or the strife.
You know, John, that's a really good poem. And this sailing metaphor really works well because when you're sailing, there's a lot you can't control. You can't control the weather. You can't control the wind, the waves. But what we can control is the sail. And that's the metaphor that we're talking about when we talk about how to navigate this kind of life. There's a lot in our lives that we don't control, but you can control, you can set your sail. And we're going to invite you in this Crest program to set your sail right so that you can actually navigate to the port you're looking for. And what might that port be? Well, there's a fascinating scripture in Revelation chapter 2 and verse 17, which just typifies what could be the port that we're all sailing for. And here's that strange verse. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I will give a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to him who receives it. Wow, that's an intriguing scripture. Like, what is this stone? What's written on it exactly? And there's been a number of people that have recommended other different ideas as to what it could be, but I think George MacDonald had the best answer. And if you'll read along in your curriculum, you'll notice what he says. It is the man's own symbol, his soul's picture, in a word. The sign which belongs to him and no one else. Well, who can give a man this, his own name? God alone. For no one but God sees what the man is, And it is only when the man or the woman has become his or her name that God gives them the stone with the name upon it. For then first can he understand what his name signifies. And such a name cannot be given until the man or the woman is the name. Wow, that's an intriguing verse which says that God does have a destination for us. He's got a plan in mind, and that is to make us exactly the person we need to be. And when we become that person, he names us. I came across a book by Dr. Robert Clinton called The Making of a Leader. And in that book, he describes over a lifetime how God works with people. And it comes out of his study of over 1,000 leaders from ancient times through modern times. There's a pattern, and it fits a lot of our human development. And I put the research into this one graph that really helps us a lot. So take a look at this graph here, and I'll describe it to you. It seems that, according to his research, most leaders will start well, but only a few will flourish in the second half. The majority will flatline, and some will flounder or get frustrated. So what is this all about? If the majority are going to be floating along or flatlined, this is when, usually at midlife and second half, your thinking is maxed out, your life practices have become insufficient for what you really need to continue to flourish. Maybe your energy is flat, but you're coping. You're just kind of hanging on. That would be a good way of describing floating or flatlined. The frustrated or the floundering piece is when you feel stuck or stopped or stymied. And it's usually indicative of unfinished business from the first half that is dragging you down. And you feel frustrated. And what we are finding is that in this time of frustration, there's an invitation to rewrite your script. What are you going to keep? These would be the core values you want to keep. What are you going to adapt for the second half? That would be growth points that you need to do. And then what are you going to let go? There are some pieces about the first half you got to let go. And we're going to talk about necessary endings a little bit later in the course. So then we come to what does flourishing actually look like?
One of the books that we borrow to come to for a definition or a picture of it is from Janet Hagberg. In her book, Real Power, she identifies 6 typical stages of personal development leading to flourishing. So the first one is powerlessness. We all begin at powerlessness. We're completely dependent. Then as we grow, we come to power by association. It's who we're hanging around with. A time where we're learning from others, and our confidence is actually in those we are following and not ourselves yet, until we move on to a power by achievement. And then we're ambitious. We've got our confidence, and we're starting to get some results. At first, this stage can feel like you've made it, like Dan was talking about earlier, that success. But it's a false sense of fulfillment. A lot of people come to a place of emptiness at this point. And when we realize that, man, the success really isn't what I thought it would be, it takes us back. And we come to the power of reflection. We slow down, we ask why questions, and we start reconsidering our purpose and finding our core. Now, with all that time of asking questions and reflecting, many people come screeching to a halt at this point. They come to what Janet Hagberg calls the wall. Now, sometimes reflection can lead to that because we get confused or we get even disappointed of where we are. Like Dan was talking about, some of the things that are left undone, and we get to this point, we realize, what have we done? What's my legacy? What am I leaving? What have I done or what have I not done? Well, to move forward out of this, out from the wall, there's some things that we have to do and not do. We have to let go of control, and we have to pursue those core values, and we have to ask for help, like you are doing right now by taking this course.
Yep.
We believe some of you are in this position and are asking for Crest to help, and it's our honor to do that. One of the ways we want to help you do that is to move through that wall and to a place where maybe you feel like you're almost a different person. You come to a power by purpose. You're more self-aware, more focused on inner strength, and like Dan was talking about earlier, significance beyond success. Then we come to this place that Janet Hagberg calls the power of wisdom. It's a place of self-sacrifice and humility. We're removed from the cares and power of the world, and we are quietly fully alive. And it's like you found that white stone that Revelation verse talks about. Well, friends, this is really the ambition of Crest. We've designed the Crest experience to help you specifically through the process of reflection, and then navigating that wall and passing through it onto the other side and finding your power of purpose. We want to help you move from success to significance. And to do that, you need some tools.
Well, John, that's a very good description that you just gave of the stages that we go through. Well described, and also well researched by Janet Hagberg there. So that has been very helpful for us in creating Crest, to know where are we trying to take you to. So there is a journey to do this, and we're going to use things like reading to help you. We're going to have you read certain books that you may not have picked on your own, actually. And not all these books are going to be Christian books. They're going to be books that have wisdom in them. We believe that all knowledge and all truth is God's truth, whether it's written by a Christian author or not. So some of the books will give you got to sift and sort a little bit, but you're mature enough to be able to do that, to pull the gems out of it. We're also going to ask you to journal. That is paying attention to what God's telling you. And one of the best ways to pay attention is to actually take your book and just write it out and capture the ideas and the aha moments as they happen to you. Another really powerful way to do this journey is to connect with other people. And that's why we have you in a cohort. That's why we're going to invite you to times of discussion and to connect and storytell with each other. It's powerful what happens when you do that. And then the last thing we're going to ask you to do is to actually implement some of the key learnings through assignments. But we know you're busy. We know you're flat out busy, so that you're not going to do a lot of assignments, and we're not going to overload you with them. We're simply going to ask you to practice some of the key learnings that come out of each lesson or each encounter that we do with you. And these tools will really help you to think deeply through life. So folks, this is how you can set your sail. You're going to have to be intentional about it. It won't happen automatically. You got to think deeply through life again. And we're going to also encourage you to renew your spirituality with God. We're going to give you some spiritual formation things, which are very encouraging and helpful, because the spirituality in the second half is actually a little different than the first half. And we'll explain that to you a little bit later.
Now, let's be clear that we don't cover everything in these videos. So you should go through the curriculum and each lesson that's attached to it to ensure you don't miss anything. When you're done, go to the worksheet, give it some thought. Don't pass through these assignments and these worksheets quickly just to get them done. Give it some thought. Again, this is investing in yourself. Fill it out, send it in, and then we'll see you in the next lesson, which talks about special moments in our lives that are called Kairos moments. And so we'll see you on the other side then.